I'm waiting for the first round of Garpa to get over, and effectively it's done. Good to see that. Sharing my screen. Okay, here we are. Let me straight away go to the syllabus without wasting much of time. Any idea about the subject we are going to do today, Aruna? All the students out there too? Any idea about the subject? Which specialization? Project appraisal and finance is the answer I have got from Miss Aruna. And let me take it if I've got the answers from here. Okay. Let me begin this session by asking the expectation of yours. First of all, what do you expect from this subject? Whether the syllabus of this subject is in alignment with your expectations or not, that's I want to see. What's your expectation? I would first ask it to Aruna and to all others. You can unmute yourself, huh? That's definitely okay. Anyone?
Take a project maybe.
Okay, so we have got one answer from Miss Aruna that how to take up a project, sir. How we can finance this project. So that's what she has said. Anyone else? Others, please. May we have some interaction from Miss Dara, Miss Heli, Miss Jalpa, Miss Pooja, as well as Miss Riddhi? Oh, Miss Riddhi is very honest in giving the answers. Good to see that. Honesty is appreciated. No idea, sir. Miss Jalpa is of the opinion, sir, it's about the financial planning for any project. Okay. So what kind of a project we are looking up to? What's the project, first of all? Project? What's that?
From which the company wants like main source taking up a project.
Okay. Anyone else? Miss Jalpa says it's business. What's the project? Okay. I've received the answer from Miss Jalpa as well as from Miss Aruna. Any idea about the project? What is the project, first of all? Sir, we prepared it in the assignment. Oh, no, no, that one, not that one. Right, so let me start it with the very basics. Now see, the project can be your business unit. The project can be a one investment in your fixed asset. The project can be establishment of the brand. The project can be the establishment of the entire company for one particular purpose. There is a wide range of things which comes under the project. But yes, one thing that must be satisfied is that it must have a common objective as well as the common outcome. You take up some business activity, one objective, one outcome, not one, but aligned objectives and aligned outcomes. That's the project. You are investing in some investment which is a fixed asset kind of an investment, but having a very long term life, like building a hospital for the employees, or establishing some sort of a administrative department. That can also be the project. Now when it comes to the project must have its own cash inflows and outflows. You must understand that two things must be there. One is cash inflow, another one is cash outflow. You can call it a project only if it has its own cash inflows and cash outflows. Some of the expenditures you are just doing where there is no inflow expected directly from that business activity, You cannot call it a project. Say, for example, if you are incurring some marketing expenditure, but it does not have its own cash inflows, cannot be called as a project. You are establishing one business unit, having the cash inflows and outflows of that business unit can be called as a project. Now, I would try to explore the funnier part of the project here. See, when it comes to the financial management of any kind of a project, I try to relate it with the relationship management. You have heard it right. Miss Aruna is also laughing from here. It's about the relationship management. Uh, Now it can be any sort of a relationship. You try to understand that what are the risks involved, what are the cash inflows, outflows, what you will get after entering into the project. So everything we are going to do in this subject. Let's try to understand the first module. What is there? First, we will see that, say, if you have one particular objective to achieve by establishing one business unit or by establishing one product line or by establishing one one sort of a company for that, one organization for that, then obviously we would look into various alternatives, right? No one does it just by looking at one and sir मुझे तो यही अच्छा लगता है तो मैं तो इसमें ही करूंगी, ऐसे business decision नहीं होते. We look to the various alternatives. So first thing would be, we would be identifying that as per our needs, what can we do? What are the various alternatives we have in which we can invest? Obviously, all those alternatives, there would be some measurement skills, there would be some techniques. We would be evaluating all those alternatives. But it's not like we will not see alternatives at all. We are going to see that. Then only you will be able to find the most appropriate one for your particular requirement. So first thing is, you identify the various alternatives. Okay. Then we will try to, understand that the thing that we want to get, the business we want to establish, or the kind of a services we want to give through that project, what is the demand in the market? So if you try to relate it with the relationship management as well, no, first you try to see the alternatives. Then you come to know that, see, you select that, okay, this is the person with whom I should have the relationship. Then you try to identify that whether there is a demand or not. It's not just you who is contributing to the things. There should be some inflow as well, right? And if there is no demand only, then there is no meaning of project. You want to do something for the people, but there is no demand of those things in the market. What's the meaning of that? So you try to identify the demand, and it's not just going to be the theoretical one, please. Let me clarify this thing to you first of all, that this projection of demand is something which involves some numerical exercises. We would be taking some data in Excel, we would be analyzing the data, and we'll try to identify that how we can project the demand of anything which we want to sell. It can be a service, it can be a goods, it can be anything for which the business unit is established, yes or no? So second one is about appraisal. You try to identify the demand. Number two, then you try to identify the appropriate technology. So that's going to be the part number 2 of the second module. Once that is done, then there would be more sort of a finance, and here there would be a crux of the project appraisal in finance. If someone asks me that from this syllabus, if you want to identify what is the crux, where this Amrut is lying, so first 2 modules are the Samudra Manthan, and after the Samudra Manthan of the first 2 modules, we get either Amrut or we get the poison. So once the Samudra Manthan is done, and if you have done it well, then you will get the Amrut in this module number 3. Module number 3 is something which is going to be extremely useful as far as this syllabus is concerned. That really does not mean that first two modules are not important. First two modules are going to be the base to effectively apply everything you have done in the module number 3. Okay, in module number 3, a bit of a financing aspect comes into the picture. Once you identify that whether the demand is there in the market or not, once you identify that what is the appropriate technology, and these are going to be the financial calculations. You have the various alternatives, which one you will be selecting. That's a financial problem. You want to identify that what is the demand of particular business unit which you are establishing when it comes to your services and goods which you want to sell to the people. That's the financial problem. You will do some numerical exercises there, and that's what we are going to do too. And once that is done, then sir, पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे? आपने बड़ी बड़ी बातें तो कर ली, इतनी इतनी चीजें करनी है, ये एस्टेब्लिश कर दो, ये टेक्नोलॉजी ला दो, ये कर दो, पैसे. That's about the financing. So here, how we are going to finance our project, that will be taken care of. In financial management, you have learned about some of the sources of finance, that how you can finance your organization. Here we would also explore some of the complex structures. If I give you a very simple example, all of you have heard about Reliance Jio, right? Reliance Jio's is the subsidiary of Reliance Industries Limited. And Reliance Jio's capital structure is so much systematically, scientifically designed that they eliminated the tax up to the great extent. Even though they have made a huge amount of profit from selling some percentage of a stake to WhatsApp, effectively Facebook, because Facebook is the owner of WhatsApp now. Even though they have made the humongous profits, they will not be paying any tax. Now, how did that happen? They had planned it accordingly. Their capital structure, when I say capital structure, that means the various sources of finance, and then you can try, you build one particular structure which will be financing your entire project requirements. That can be systematically built by taking into account the risk as well as various other aspects of it. So that's the project financing. And then again, a bit of a numerical exercise will come into the picture, and that's gonna be the risk analysis. You explore the alternatives for the relationship. You identify one person. You see whether there is a demand at other side as well or not. If there is no demand straight away, you would say that no, I shouldn't be there now. इसीलिए मैं बच्चों को कहता हूँ कि बेटा एक कॉल आता है ना तो पहले देखो, try to identify what is the demand in the market of your first. Then you do the technical analysis of the project, whether the project is suitable or not. What kind of a technology would be suitable in that project? Then you try to identify that how I'll be able to finance this project. Now, you go to the risk aspect. See, every decision cannot be in black and white. Till now in the capital budgeting, when we were doing the financial management, our focus was about, whether we should accept any investment proposal or not. That was by employing some capital budgeting techniques. You must have heard about the NPVs and IRRs and all capital budgeting techniques we have done. But that's a very black and white kind of answer. That's a binary kind of answer, 0 to 1, which is not always good. You need to understand that what is the risk involved in the project. Some of the cash inflows which you have identified that this will be the cash inflows from the project. What if there is a too much of risk involved in that? Did you consider that while doing the capital budgeting in the financial management? No. So risk is something which will also be taken into account when we will be doing the capital budgeting risk analysis over here this time. Till now, whatever the projects we were accepting and rejecting in the financial management was based on some techniques. Those techniques were black and white techniques. If the profitability index is more than 1, you should accept the project, otherwise you should reject the project. That's a black and white solution, yes or no, Ms. Aruna? If your IRR is more than the required rate of return, you accept the project, you reject the project. That's again a black and white solution. If your NPV is positive, you accept the project, otherwise you reject the project, again a black and white solution. But the practical thing does not happen like this. The solutions are not so easy. It takes a lot of time because you cannot ignore the risk at all. The cash inflows and outflows which you have projected, which you have finalized, what about the risk in that? Some of the projects might be highly risky. Some of the projects might not be very much risky. Now, risk depends on various factors. The factor number 1 would be the location in which the project would be. The factor number 2 would be how you have financed your project. The factor number 3 can be what would be the management will be dealing with that project. There could be n number of other factors which will be defining the risk involved in the project. So that's gonna be the part 2 of the third module. That's project risk analysis. And for that we have some probabilistic models as well as the Hillier model as well as some other risk management models which we are going to apply in our project cash inflows and outflows, and we'll get some results based on that. Then, if I give you a bit idea about one of the provisions of the Corporate Law, Companies Act 2013, nowadays every company, Ms. Aruna, and all the people who are listening me online, Ms. Kushbu is also there, who is from marketing. Fortunately, her teacher is not there, that's why she is there in my class. But she's listening patiently. I liked it. Now, if I give you the example of the corporate law, no? Nowadays, it's compulsory to contribute some percentage of your profit for your corporate social responsibility, Ms. Kushbu. Now, if you do not contribute to the corporate social responsibility, then you will have to report in your board of directors report that you couldn't contribute. You will have to specify the reasons that why you couldn't contribute. When I was referring that, it was around 2% of the profits. Yes, there are certain rules and regulations, certain minor things about it, but it was 2% of your profit which you should try to contribute for corporate social responsibility. Nowadays, all these business and projects which are getting established are looked from the perspective of what they are serving to the society. How that project will be useful to the society. If you go to the last AGM speech of Reliance Industries Limited, in which the managing director Mukesh Ambani quoted certain things, his focus was entirely upon that how this 5G network will be useful to the Indian society. How this 5G network will eliminate the various problems of Indian communication system. His focus was entirely on how this will be beneficial to the society. So you cannot ignore your responsibility toward the society at all, because nowadays projects are also evaluated from that perspective, Ms. Khushbu. So that's gonna be the social cost benefit analysis. Till now, we have got an idea theoretically that what is the social cost benefit analysis, or we might not have it. But in this subject, we would try to incorporate some of the questions which will be practical sort of questions. So it's not just about giving you the theoretical understanding of a concept. It's also about doing some practical exercises. Yes or no, Miss Aruna? And Miss Aruna is saying yes as well. She's quite participative. And similar kind of a participation must be there over here too. online mode. Okay, so that's gonna be our fourth module. And the fifth module, there are certain, now see, there could be some extraordinary situations as well. The previous kind of a models of any kind of a project which were established by the government or by the corporates, nowadays we have seen a lot of innovations while designing the deals of those projects. Especially if I tell you, there are various public and private partnerships established over a period of time. If you go to certain bridges like Mumbai, Bandra Worli Sea Link Beach, or if you go to some of the infrastructural projects, highway building, now this all projects are taken up in a public private partnership mode where government is also contributing, private companies are also contributing. For some number of years, the revenue which you are generating from that project will be taken away by the private parties, and after that, that would be handed over to the government. So that's the public private partnership kind of a structures that also we are going to see in the fifth one. So if such special circumstances happens where there are too many project parties, there are too many investors who are financing this project, there are too many people who are involved, some complex structures we have built, then in those special kind of a situations, how we'll be taking the decision, how we'll be evaluating those decisions. That also we are going to do in the fifth module. Right, so that's gonna be our entire project management. As I've said, that you must look into it from the perspective of the relationship management. First of all, you try to identify that what are the alternatives you have in the class or somewhere outside. Then you identify a person with whom you want to build the relationship. Number three, then you identify that how you will be financing that relationship. If it is not financially viable option, obviously you would straight away say no. If you are not able to take up the expenses of that particular person, straight away say no, I cannot do it. Number four, you try to understand that what is the risk. Now here in this project management, risk can also be can be found by using some standard deviation, some statistical techniques. And same thing you can do while you do the relationship management as well. You try to identify that what is the standard deviation of mood of any person, and if the mood gets changed too much, then again you will look into the project and see that whether you should actually take up this project or not. So once you do the risk analysis, then you will try to identify that what project can serve to the society. Fourth module, in the relationship building, you see that what particular relationship will serve to the family now. So that's the social cost benefit analysis. And the fifth module, if there would be some special considerations, some major problems which are out of syllabus kind of a problems, then how you will be handling those problems in the relationships. Similar would be the orientation of project management over here too. Is it clear? So I've just given you the brief idea about the entire syllabus we are going to do. Anyone want to take or any want to have any kind of a further understanding on any concepts we have done till now? Just let me know. Else you may just give me a chotusa confirmation that you have got everything till now. No need to worry. We would go into the each and every minute details of everything over a period of time whenever we'll be taking those concepts in a detailed manner. Right now, I'm just giving you the idea about it. You must at least understand that what we are going to do in that, right? Okay, so we have got it from Miss Heli, Miss Riddhi, and Miss Pooja too. By the way, by what time you people would be coming? I mean, how many of you have opted for physical mode? Jinsi will also come. Okay, Miss Aruna is obviously here, so she will come. All these people who have joined online, Dara?
No idea, sir.
Oh my God. People are very honest here. That I've come to know. Riddhi straight away told me that, sir, I have no idea about the project. Oh my God. I was like, I need to stretch it right from the scratch. Anyone else? Aruna? These two I can identify, I guess. Heli, you are also coming. Yes, yes. Okay, Khushbu said yes. Okay, no worries, fine. There would be a bit of a problems for me, but that's okay. you would be able to go do it. Aruna, till now you didn't find any problem in getting the things right. My orientation is little towards those people because they are more in numbers. That's why you couldn't find any problem, no? Okay, Aruna is fine. For the people who have joined online till now, any problem in this kind of an orientation? I haven't switched on my camera, but थोड़ा सा नहीं आ रहा अच्छा रहा इसलिए अभी तक कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुआ है तो इस मोड में अपन आगे बढ़ सकते हैं okay so once that is done let's try to understand that what are the things we have in the rubrics as well as the teaching evaluation system. We are not going to go technically in detailed manner today because that we are going to start from the next lecture. Today I will just give you the brief idea about the syllabus which I have already done. Let's first understand that how you will be evaluated. Now some of the students would be like, sir, आप प्रैक्टिकल करवाने वाले हो तो फिर इवेल्युएट कैसे करोगे? तो बेटा मैं इवेल्युएट अपने खुद के हिसाब से तो नहीं कर सकता. Now some of the subjects were like financial analytics where we had the practical examination. So we did it in the Excel, but here in this case, it's gonna be the pen paper examination. But we have one thing for with us. And that one thing is the rubric, that is 20%, you know. So see, it's gonna be the pen paper examination for all the things we are going to do, but the practical things that we'll be doing by using some data, by taking some data, financial data, and doing some exercises over there, sir, how will be evaluating that? Sir, these 20% marks which are up to me, we can utilize those marks for practical exams, yes or no? Okay, then 30% is going to be our mid-semester examination percentage. And this 50% is going to be the final examination. So it's gonna be 20, 30, 50. And being a finance student, you shouldn't be confused in this percentage weights. Huh? Some of the students who like, sir, अभी तक हमें मालूम ही नहीं पड़ा कि कैसे marks मिलते हैं हमें. बेटा इसमें कोई rocket science नहीं है. You first convert all the marks from out of 100. Let me give you the example. Say, if there is a rubric, and in rubric you total marks I have taken is 50. Then mid-semester examination is also 50. And say final examination is of 100. Right? Now from 50, say for example, Khushbu has got over here 30, which is in rubric. Then in mid-semester examination, she was very much enthusiastic about, and she was like, sir, इस बार तो मेरे को बहुत अच्छा perform करना है. So she got 40. And then from 100 in final examination, वो फिर से थोड़ी सी ठंडी हो गई. She got 50. Now first thing would be, you would be converting this marks out of 100. So from 50 to 30, that means it's 60. Yes or no, Miss Khushbu? Okay, from 50 to 40, that means you get 80 from 100, yes or no? And from 100 to, it's already in 100, so it's gonna be 50. Now you apply these weights. The weighted average cost of capital and everything we used to do, if you can recall it a bit. Now weights is, this is 20%, so I can write it in 0.2 in decimal. This is 30%, so I can write 0.3. And this one is 50%, so I can write 0.5. Yes or no, Miss Aruna? Okay. So 60 multiplied by 0.2 means how much? 12. 80 multiplied by 0.3, that means 24. And 50 multiplied by 0.5, that means 25. So what will be the CGPA score of Miss Khushbu over here? 25 plus 24 plus 12. You add all these 3 marks and you get the total marks. SGPA, not CGPA, sorry. So 12 plus 36, 36 plus 25. So it comes at 61. So that's going to be the score of Khushbu. I hope you have got this evaluation. Yes or no, Karuna? Aruna, sorry. Thank you. Now I went through some of the textbooks as well. So you are clear about the evaluation pattern too, textbooks. Yes, Prasanna Chandra, project planning analysis, selection, financing, implementing. This is going to be the Bible, Quran or Gita for the project financing. Some of the other books as well I identified, but I feel that Prasanna Chandra is going to be enough that we should refer. As far as your reading is concerned, I will try to develop some indigenous material as well for you, after taking the reference from the various reference books as well as the textbooks, and that material will be circulated to you. So you will be referring that. But if you want to read it in a very detailed manner, in a minute manner for each and every small thing we'll be doing, then you can go to the Prasanna Chandra as well. So that's gonna be our textbook. Absolutely clear. Yes, and one more thing. Every practical thing that we'll be doing in this subject, no, for that I'll be preparing certain files. For that you will not be able to find any explanation anywhere. So please make sure that all the files which I'm circulating in Excel, over there will be actually doing the project analysis. Over there will be actually doing some risk analysis. Over there will be actually doing some demand analysis, that whether there is a demand or not, all such sort of a things numerically. You should keep making your notes, because for that I won't be having any material. That's one clarification I'm giving to you. Is it clear, Aruna? Okay, so here I've got the confirmation. And others, anyone having any query or question related to anything, you can ask it to me.
No, sir.
Okay. Are we supposed to bring laptops? Miss Haley is asking me. Haley, for many number of things you won't be requiring, but at the end of the each and every module, we would be indulging ourselves into some of the practical exercises where I think you should be bringing the laptop. So obviously, in advance, I'll be telling to all the students that when and up to how many number of lectures you should bring your laptops. Is it clear, Miss Haley? Okay. So for entire syllabus, you won't be requiring the laptop, but at least for 2 to 3 lectures in every module, we would be requiring the laptop. So in totality, if I give you around 10 to 12 lectures, we would be conducting the practical exercises in the laptop by using some softwares and tools. Okay, so that's it. I won't be taking much time of yours today. From the next lecture, we would be moving to the content straight away. This was just about the brief overview, as well as the evaluation pattern and the kind of a methodology which I am going to adopt. Right? So you may just give your attendance in the chat box by putting your enrollment number as well as your name. And once that is done, you may disperse from the class. See you all right in the next lecture with all kind of an enthusiasm you have. Please make sure that if you are coming physically over here, it would be better, because for many number of months you haven't attended it physically, and it's quite visible from Miss Aruna's face that she is quite satisfied now. ऑनलाइन बहुत हो गया. शी इज लाइक सर अब तो इधर फिजिकली बैठना. शी आपने देखा अरुणा मैंने को पहले ही बता दिया. She was like, sir, if you can come over here in the class, no, it would be better. I don't want to attend it online now. Good. Okay, you may leave now. Bye-bye. Take care. Sayonara. See you all in the next lecture.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Should I join next day?
Enrollment number बोल दो. What's your 919 007. Done. Even yours is done. That's recorded. શું કે ખુશ્બુ બાકી મજામાં બેટા?